So, the first Buddhist practice or mindfulness practice that I want to talk about is Mahamudra practice. What is Mahamudra practice? An Indian dish, you might say? Nope. It's a Buddhist meditation practice taking about 30 minutes long. And the first 10 minutes, you do what's called the 4 preliminary practices and the 4 measurable practices. The next 10 minutes, you do what's called tranquility meditation. And then for the final 5 to 10 minutes, you do what's called insight meditation. And so most Westerners are familiar with meditation that is known in the Mahamudra technique as tranquility meditation. So that's where you follow your breath or you follow your thoughts. You rest your attention on an object. So the easiest one is to follow your breath. And that would be counting your in breath and your out breath as one, 1, 2. Oh, my bad. I mean 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and then you go back to 1. And then after you get your attention focused, you can really go to 7 and then go back to 1. But it's not a strict thing, you know. You just want to follow your breath, and that just focuses your attention on one thing. So today I'm not going to talk about the 4 preliminaries and the 4 immeasurables, because that's really more of a ethical foundation of Buddhism, and I just want to talk about the practice that of meditation that can help today. So I talked about the tranquility meditation, and that's, like I said, we're all familiar with on Headspace or any meditation that we learn through people that haven't learned that much more about meditation is just following your breath. And that really works for calming yourself down, but ultimately it's not going to get rid of your deep-seated ideas and beliefs that are ruining your life. I mean, we all have those conflicting emotions, and even though we try to calm them down with meditation, maybe they don't always go away. And so that's what the insight meditation is there for. And insight meditation, the basic thing that you are trying to do there is to watch your thoughts, watch the different phenomena that arise through your senses, whatever comes into your attention, whatever that object may be, and learn about the nature of that object. And the nature of every object, of everything, as Buddhists say, is emptiness. It's empty in that it has no real nature of its own, but it has this ness, this substance to it, because we all can see it. We can point to things and say that exists in the world, but the actual nature of that is empty. So in insight meditation, we're allowing our wisdom, our attention, to pay attention or put our attention on this empty nature. And it's not a feeling of non-self, you will feel yourself, but it's when you ask yourself, who am I? So you won't ever find that if you ask yourself who you are. If you ask yourself where's a thought that is occurring in my mind? Those are all questions that we can ask ourselves in insight meditation. So I hope to share a lot more of that with you guys. I mean, I have this book, Mind at Ease. But the book that Mind at Ease is based on is this book called Moonbeams of Mahamudra, which was just translated like in 2019. But before then, all Westerners or any English speakers had was this book that an Australian wrote. Oh, here, I got it. This Australian, well, he's not Australian, he was Tibetan. Was Tibetan, but he died in like 2012. And this book is called Mind at Ease, and it's like the condensed version of this book. And I haven't read this book yet, but I've read this book many times, and it's like a classic meditation manual. It's not that big, and it lays all of that out, all that I just described. And these practices helped me get sober. I mean, I struggled with sobriety. I drank ever since I was a teenager, but I became aware that I had an alcohol problem when I was around like 21, 22. And I tried to quit using techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy, a couple of different other ones. Like, I was just trying to find all these different like Western therapeutic methods to get rid of my alcohol or get me over my alcoholism. And I wanted to do it in a way that wasn't Alcoholics Anonymous, because I didn't want to go the religious route, and I've seen that kind of stuff just doesn't really like work that well for people in AA. They relapse a lot. And I started reading this book when I was 24, and I'm 31 now, and I got sober when I was 29. So that gives you a timeline of like how long it takes to actually like get to that point. I mean, through any technique really, but I will say I feel like this is the best technique, and I hope to like share this with people, because that's part of the practice, is to share with helping other people not suffer as much, and get rid of those like conflicting emotions. So I hope to do like a more in-depth video, I guess, yeah, on Mahamudra meditation. And stay tuned. Thank you. Also, I forgot to talk about how much Mahamudra helps in cold exposure, because like cold exposure is the big thing now, and everyone tries to fight the cold, right? But the point of the cold is to ask yourself, like, who is feeling this cold? And when you think about who's feeling the cold, whenever I've been in a cold creek or cold shower, whenever I ask like, who is the one that's feeling this, I'm always thinking about other people or like other things other than me. And just being with how my sense of self is all these other things, like my girlfriend, my dogs, my family, like maybe some struggle I'm having. But like none of them is like me, but all of them are me. You know what I mean? And so that really helps with cold exposure. And I'm asking myself that, it's almost like my body just does whatever it needs to. And that's why Mahamudra is called self-liberating. Because we're not trying to get rid of our thoughts. We're not trying to get rid of the bad things about us. We're trying to let them be there. And by letting them be there, they're less problematic, and we can actually like work through them. And our bodies will just know how to deal with that. So right on. Keep skating, dudes. Sweet.